Carnell Holley here from Carnell Holley Pictures, and we are on location at Souther-Fried Gaming EXPO. Took me a minute to make sure that I'm saying it right, and I am with none other than Mr. Phil Moore.
Hey, it's good to be here, man. It's good to meet you.
Same here.
He comes walking up here all buffed. I'm like, I gotta roll up my sleeves. How you doing, Carnell? What do you want to talk about, man? Step on a Slim Jim.
And then it's so funny because I just met one of the wrestlers that's going to be here. He's a buddy of mine, and we took a picture. I was just like, "Oh, the arms are looking. Oh, it's okay." I wasn't trying to do that. Like they're out. I'm like, okay.
No, he went and bought this shirt and said he knows he's a large. He's like, can I have a medium, please?
I do that. It's fitted. So, but sir,
Yeah.
so this is my first time here.
Okay.
It's like the 10th anniversary, and so is this your?
It's my first time too.
Okay.
Look at this, we're both newbies.
Wait a
Wait a minute. Souther-Fried Gaming EXPO. Be gentle.
I mean, they got the greases. This is it's slippery slope. Slippery slope. So, good sir, like my buddy JB versus the world, he would always say. So, what is your nerd origin story?
Oh man, my nerd origin story goes all the way back to the Adam West Batman.
Okay.
Okay, I used to watch that. Yeah, I'm older than I look. Used to watch Adam West Batman. Used to wear Batman everything. Used to wear Batman underwear. Right.
Okay.
Right now, I'm wearing Nightwing drawers. I'm just letting you
I
know.
had Batman a week ago. So, I mean, hey.
But no, that's how it started with me. I like Batman. Let me tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about superheroes for me. My nerdism comes from superheroes.
Okay.
Batman. Okay, number one. Then the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
After Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man. Right. Then when I was going through puberty, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman.
Okay. Okay.
And it was all about, like, I wasn't doing sports. You know, like, I grew up in Baltimore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in the inner city, right? We got the Baltimore Ravens there.
Right.
You got the Orioles there. Big sports town. People come up to me. The game is on, man. Who do you want? Who do you think's going to win? I'm like, I don't know. The Avengers? I don't know.
It's like, what team?
I don't know. So, yeah, my superhero origin story, it goes all the way back to that. Getting into, like, you know, being on TV.
Mhm.
I went to college in Florida and ended up doing stand-up comedy just on the side.
Mhm.
Then started doing it full-time. Hardest phone call I ever made was to my mom and dad going, yeah, you know, all that college, you know, loans that I got. And
Right.
I finally got a job with benefits. I'm a quit it to tell jokes in a bar to people for $50 a night.
And how did they take that?
And honestly, let me tell you something. This is a testament for real. We're joking around. My mother's reaction, I was nervous as I don't know what her reaction was. Well, it's about time. You're finally going to get paid for what you used to get in trouble for in school. No, seriously. That was mom's legit reaction. So then, once I started doing stand-up, you know, you get, you know, managers and agents, and they just send you out on auditions. And I ended up, you know, auditioning. And the first, I did a couple of commercials, but when I finally realized, like, I want to host TV shows, I told my agent, like, hey, why don't you send me out for an audition for, you know, shows and stuff. Got a phone call and went out, simple audition, headshot, do your lines. And after about 7 callbacks, the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay. Okay. So, well, Warren, we can't say. I can say.
Yeah, at the time as this being filmed right now, we're dealing with the writers and the Screen Actors Guild strike. So there's some stipulations and things that I need to refrain from doing. But you don't got no SAG card. You can do whatever you want.
Right, pretty much. So I will say. So I am very curious on how you got the job of being the host of Nickelodeon's Arcade.
Well, again, it was just an audition. But I tell you what's the good origin story, how I got to decide to do that. So I was doing stand-up comedy, and one of the things I did was I did audience warm-up for TV shows.
Right.
Okay? There was before the Wayne Brady version of Let's Make a Deal, there was an earlier version in the 90s. Okay? And, you know, they come to the end, they got the big deal. Well, the game right before the big deal, they had an elephant as a zonk prize. Okay? Unbeknownst to me, a real elephant. They had and the elephant took a dump backstage. So the stage manager comes over and he goes, Phil, we can't get to the big deal yet because we got to clean up a pile of elephant dung back there on the stage. So I was like, ad-libbing and goofing off, trying to keep the crowd warmed up. Meanwhile, Dick Clark, the legendary Dick Clark himself, he was the executive producer of the show. And after I stalled the audience but kept them entertained for like 20 minutes while they cleaned up the mess and disinfected, Dick Clark came down when we were getting ready to go, wanted to say thank you to the audience for being so patient. But before he did that, he shook my hand and told the audience, he did it literally, he said, by the way, listen, normally when things like this happen, it's a nightmare up in the control room, but I've never had so much fun watching a mess get cleaned up than I did from watching you. And I stopped and I went, when legendary Dick Clark, like he's a legend,
Right?
you know what I mean? When he gives you sort of a pat on the back, then I'm thinking maybe it's time for the next step. And I went home that day, called my agent. Why didn't I call from the car? Because we didn't have cell phones back then. I went home.
Do you have a pager?
I had a page. Oh, dude. Oh my God. Come on. I had a Tupac and Biggie pages all over I had 3, 4. This is my agent right here. This right here is for my wife. This one right here is for my girlfriend. No, I'm kidding.
Hey.
I'm kidding. No, I had 2 pages. One was a business pager. One was a personal pager. And I was rocking them, man.
Right.
Oh, man. One was T-Mobile. One was AT&T. But, and so I told my agent, listen, Dick Clark gave me a pat on the back. Maybe send me out on auditions for things bigger. Came across her desk this new game show that was going to be shooting at Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida.
Right.
By the way, we all had to say that. Whatever show you had was filmed at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. We had to all learn it. And like I said, the audition process is boring. Like that's, you go in, you do your thing, you say the lines, you try to get it, you get a call back. You come back again, they're narrowing down the people. So the process itself was kind of boring, a little bit nerve-wracking. Every time I get done, you go home and you sit by the phone. They like me? The phone would ring. I'd see the caller ID. I go, it's my agent. Come on, Melody. I pick up the phone. What's up? She goes, Phil, they like you. Yes. So they want to see you again. No. No, I would say yes. No. I would go, okay. But then I hang up the phone and be like, come on. Initial audition, 6 callbacks.
Okay, because you did 7. Okay.
7 altogether before I finally, landed the gig. 7.
And just for note, because like you entertain the crowd for 20 minutes, and usually comics they come in and trying to make sure they have a good 5-minute set, and so and that was off the top.
Well, that was the thing that was crazy about it because see, when you get to the big deal of let's make a deal, that's the end of the show. I'd already done my best bits. You know what I mean? The audience came in, had my little spiel that I do, introduced the host of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, Mr. Monty Hall. And one time was a guy named Bob Hilton. Bob Hilton came out. Then Monty Hall came back in. It was great. I mean, I was working with the legendary Monty Hall who birthed Let's Make a Deal. You know what I'm saying? And, then in between while they're setting up for stuff, go out to the audience, do a couple of little funnies. Hi, man, where you from? Oh, my goodness, these your kids? Beautiful. Oh, look, we got to get going. And we start doing the show again. So I was done. Like, you have it timed out.
Right.
When you get to the big deal, all that's left to say is, thank you, good night, go home. But no, I had to stall for like 20 minutes.
But the rest is history. And so with Nickelodeon's Arcade, now, like who would you say was your biggest guest on the show?
Well, we had a lot of cool people. I would think maybe the biggest, especially coming from the same network, was Melissa Joan Hart. She was on the show. She was like amazing because she was a kid.
Right.
Like I was a grown man. So, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking. You've got camera people, somebody talking in your ear, hitting your marks, making sure you say things correctly. I apologize for pronouncing it Dr. Robotnik instead of Dr. Robotnik. Please forgive me, America. Okay. All right. Anyway, but like trying to make sure I'm saying everything right. And here's this kid just nailing it. She's like out there hitting the mark, saying the lines, bouncing off of people. And she's a professional, man. I felt like I was there like to just bring in Uber Eats, and she's up there like, making a gourmet meal.
I do this.
So yeah, Melissa Joan Hart. I was just amazed at the talent from this young lady being, like I said, she was a minor. And like, she was like Meryl Streepy. Okay, okay, so her show wasn't Meryl Streepy type, but still,
For his career.
watching her do what she did on her show. You remember her show?
Carissa Explains It All.
Yes. Oh man, she took me to class and explained some things for me.
Right.
Just by watching her do her thing. You know, so I would say that. But you know what? Another thing that was kind of cool is we had a pre-NSYNC Joey Fatone. He was going by Joseph. And he was actually on the show, just, you know, doing his thing, trying to win some British nights and a trip to Universal Studios and Space Camps.
Space Camp was in
Yeah, it was in Florida.
Okay.
So was Universal Studios where we were shooting.
Right.
I never understood. You just won a grand prize to come right back to where you already are.
But I mean, you had all these hot guests. As far as the gaming, because we're at Souther-Fried Gaming EXPO.
Souther-Fried Gaming EXPO.
What would you say is your go-to comfort game?
Oh man, Sonic 2, all day long. Sonic 2. Couple reasons. Number one, we actually aired it before you could buy it. The company sent us the prototype.
Right.
We had already had Sonic 1 on season 1, and they said, hey, we would like you to take a look at this game, and if you like it, we will allow you without charging you, you know, put it on your show. And so America saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2 before you could buy Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay, so so what you're saying, like you seen The Wizard with Fred Savage. So is it a similar situation when they aired the Super Mario Brothers 3 in the movie, which was the new game?
It was like that. Yeah, it was, except in the movie, it's like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit. We'd have like that game featured on the episode like maybe 7 or 8 times. And so you got to see it repeatedly if you watched the show as a regular viewer, you know, and I've talked to some people that have, you know, I've met doing things like this, and they would go, I would be yelling, play Sonic 2 because I want to see it again, you know. But that was so to this day, of the games we had on the show, I still like that one because number one, it's a fun game anyway, but because it's got that little special thing. We were like, we debuted it. You're talking about origin story. We were the premiere. We were Diana Ross introducing the Jackson 5. You know what I mean? That was us.
I was thinking Michael with Carissa. It's like the OJ's. I think he took Michael to get some lozenges. And it just seemed like an old soul. I'm just like thinking that for Carissa.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jonah.
Melissa.
Right.
Rhymes with Clarissa.
Right. So, as far as your gaming, what would you say? So, for as being at convention, what was your most memorable moment with the things?
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a lot. Because here's the thing: when we used to go out to meet people, you know, do appearances, it was like always, you know, get down on one knee, give a high five, give a hug. But like before you saw the guy over there, like, he was ready to cry. He was ready to cry. You get big guys who are like, you know, 6'3". I've had pick me up and twirl me around and go, "You were my childhood." No, I mean, I used to like, you know, hug the little kid. Now they're hugging me because they're big grown people. Right. But I think one of the most eye-opening moments with the amazing 90s fans that are out there, man, was when I got all this pop culture. I got all this crazy pop culture songs, movies, TV themes. It's crazy. But I was doing this one convention, and they were asking me questions, and it was like a slew of I don't know. And I went, this is weird. Like, why don't I know this? And then somebody in the audience said, man, you don't seem to know the 90s. I said, that's really weird. And then another person yelled out, that's because you were making the 90s. And I went, that's it. Because I wasn't watching movies a lot. I wasn't listening to music a lot. I wasn't watching TV. I just started working on a television show, the first one ever in my life. I just become a new dad, so I had a toddler at home, and I was newly married. So when I got done with all of the hours that I spent in the studio, I went home and utilized that time spending it with my family all through the 90s. So there was a decade. Look, to this day, dude, a Jamiroquai song will come on and it's new to me. To this day.
I have that CD in my vehicle. I still got the CD.
Yeah, every now and then I'll be driving like, ooh, what is that? And people are like, Phil, that's 1996, dude. What's the deal? Because the 90s, I was so busy. And when they said that, I think that was the most eye-opening thing that I've ever heard like fans pick up on. They pieced it together for me. I was scratching my head going, am I losing here? What's going on? I should know this. And they go, no, you don't know the 90s because you were busy making the 90s. I'm like, wow. So that was a really cool moment.
Right.
Fans are smart. 90s fans of that network, smart people.
Nickel.
Yeah, you know, with the orange and all that stuff, the blimp, that one.
The goop.
The splat. Yeah.
That one. So since you're a guest, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, tonight I'm going to be hosting this game show called Level Up.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what it's about, but that's okay. I am a professional host.
This is true.
You know, you can just show me what it is and point me in the right direction and put name badges on people because I don't remember the name. Who are you again? Anyway, so I'm looking forward to doing that because I love hosting and I do love game shows. I mean, by profession now, I am a game show producer. I make up the games and challenges for a bunch of shows, which unfortunately I can't mention either, but there's like, you know, a bunch of them. You know, ones where people bounce off of balls and some where people are on an island and they try to find love.
Right.
You know, a whole
check the IMDb.
You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of stuff and I enjoy it. I enjoy the idea of like, you know, and he even went back and did some 2 game shows for the network that I got started on. So like, I mean, I even went back to my roots, you know what I mean? Don't call me Kunta. And was able to like create new game shows for this current generation. So, I'm looking for it.
Game.
I am. As a matter of fact, if you IMDb check it, I did a thing where I put a little visor on like Jordy and came out one day and on the show because everybody always said it. They were like, oh, people would come to me all the time and they're like, seriously, no kidding. And it's funny. Don't get me wrong. I got a kick out of it. Being in the studio, you go and talk to the audience when you have a break, and kids all the time are like, oh my gosh, which is more fun, this or reading Rainbow? And I'm like, I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. You know, and then, but their parents would do it too. The parents are like, dude, I'm telling you, my kids watch you all the time. Dude, you do such a great job on this show. And then like when they're asleep, I'm watching you on Star Trek, man. I'm like, no, still not that guy.
Right.
But now here's the funny thing. So I have a son. He's grown, and we went to a Comic-Con convention in which the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation was there.
Was it here?
No. I guess it was in San Diego.
Gotcha.
No, where was I forgot where it was, but it was on the other coast. But he had already, you know, of course, he grew up knowing that story, and he had worked with LeVar Burton on something. So now we're at this convention, and so we go over, and I'm having this conversation with LeVar Burton, and my son looks at LeVar and goes, "Okay, Dad, we gotta go." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, Dad, you're over here." So like, I'm like, "I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You're walking home."
But as far as new fans, old fans, how would they be able to reach you in the social media?
Well, the good thing is like most of my socials are all the same. It's my name, Phil Moore, the letter 4, and the number U. Between you, that's a Prince tribute thing. You know, like I would die for you. Yeah, number 4 and the letter U. So it's PHILMOORE, the number 4, the letter U, on Instagram, on Twitter, and if you are still doing Facebook, it's not that, but you'll see my face as you'll see me as a Adult Swim robot chicken character. Seth Green. That's the screen, Seth. Yeah, Seth Green. Right. Seth Green, his company contacted me. I was thinking Seth Rogen too. Like, wait, which one is it? It's like the Chris. Is it Chris Brown or Chris Hemsworth? Just think the Chris.
I couldn't think of Pratt. I was like, so many Chris
Pine, Pratt. Yeah. So yeah, Seth Green. Robot Chicken contacted me. They were doing a thing in which they wanted to reenact the show, and they had the little, the figure of me and wearing the crazy shirts, and they built a little tiny set, and I voiced myself. So on Facebook, When you see the little robot chicken version of me, that's where I'm at. But everywhere else, it's Fillmore for you. I would die for you. Yeah. Tell me if you want me to, you.
Appreciate you.
Anytime, man. This is a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.